Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Syntax Sorcerer. We are learning C# for beginners, and today we are going over static versus instance members. So, what does that mean? What's the difference? So, let's just type out some comments, all right? So, static members basically cap locks, belong to the class itself, right? So, like, rather than any specific instance of the class, they belong to the class itself. This means there's only one copy. And it's shared among all instances of the class. So what does all that mean? It's in the specific class, and it's inherited, you could say, through all the other instances of the class. Static members can be accessed basically using the class name rather than using the instance name. We're going to get into that, don't worry. So then what is an instance member? So instance members belong to a specific instance of the class rather than the class itself. Each instance of the class has its own copy of its instance members, and they can only be accessed through an instance of the class. So let's just type that out real quick. Get these in our comments for our notes later. So belong to a specific instance of a class. Each instance has its own copy of its instance members, and then can only, let's do this, be accessed through the instance of the class. All right, too easy. So now let's do what we always do, and let's write out some code, right? Okay, let's do an outside of main, and we're gonna say it's public. We're gonna do a public class example, and then we're gonna say instance member, and we'll do public int instance value. And then we'll do another one. Nope, not that, sorry. We'll do another one, and we're going to say static member. And we're going to say public static int. Let's just call it static value. Okay, and then we'll do an instance method. We'll call it public void show instance value. All right. And with that, we're going to do something simple like console.writeLine, and let's do instance value. Give it a plus, and then instance value. Boom. Super easy, just like that. And then, sorry if you guys hear my phone notifications going off. I thought I set it to mute. So static method next. We'll do public static void. I meant to do. Almost skipped that. Show static value. And then we're going to do console.writeLine. And then we'll just say static value, and then plus static value. Just like that. All right. Now it's time to bring our code forward in main. So accessing static members, and then example dot static value, and we're going to set that to, well, no, we're going to set it to 10. And then we're going to do example dot show static value. Ooh, no, I didn't realize I did that. Why didn't you guys say something? How rude. Show static value. And then we'll do... This will be... Yep, sorry. Show static value. Geez, brain is not running today, huh? Static value 10. So it should output static value of 10. And then we're going to do accessing instance members. We'll do, let's do example, and then example, we'll just go with 1 equals new example. Example 2 equals new example. And now we're going to set example 1 instance value to equal 5, I want to say. Yeah, let's go with 5. And then example 2, we'll set that to 15. I already have numbers written out in case you guys ever wonder, and it bothers my autism ADHD brain if I don't do the numbers I've already written out. Especially because sometimes I already have math and stuff done. What is going on? My phone is just vibrating off the charts right now. Okay, well, my phone's acting crazy. Excuse me. So example 1 is going to now show instance value. And so what this is going to output is instance value 5. And then example 2, we're going to do the same thing. Dot show the instance value, and this is going to output the instance value of 15. And with that being said, I think we're solid. Let's Control S for save and run the program. Bam. Static value is 10, instant value is 5 and 15. So you can kind of see how we set up everything. So let's talk about it a little bit. The static field, right? Public static, where is it? Int static value, here we go, the static member. So this field's going to be shared across all instances of example. Any change affects all instances, right? And then the instance value, the static method right here, we're going to not skip the static stuff. So this can be called without creating an instance, and then it just allows us to access the static members. Kind of feels weird saying, but I promise it's not that crazy. So, and then up here, our public static instance value, So each instance of example now has a copy of its own instance value, and that changes only affect the specific instance. So when we call it, it only affects the specific instance, right? And then the instance method here, this method basically requires an instance of example to be called and can access both the instance and static members of the class, because that's how we set it up. So let's talk about it a little bit. Like, what's the difference between static and instance members? So static members are often, let's just write it out. Static members are often associated with the class itself. Whatever. That's fine. Instance members are associated with the instance of the class. Now, do you guys remember what instance is? So when we create a class called example, and then we instantiate it. So here we have example 1 and example 2. Those are the two different instances of the class. So let's talk about some other things. So static members are accessed using the class name. For example, that was example static value. And then instance members are accessed using an instance of the class, which was example1 dot instance value. So, does that make more sense now? So, static members were accessed using example static value right here. Static members. This was us accessing instance values. Static value, instance value. And we labeled them as such, and you don't have to label them this way, obviously. There are naming methods for things like that. Let's finish up some other things. So let's talk about static members have a single shared memory allocation for all instances. Let's just write that. Sometimes I don't say everything because I don't want to overwhelm. Instance members have separate memory allocation for each instance. They all have a different way of sharing memory. So static members are initialized when the class is first loaded. Instance members are initialized when a new instance of the class is created. Bam. So, with that being said, I think that's pretty straightforward for you guys. And if you need any help with this one, let's Control S. Make sure we save all our notes. If that makes any sense or doesn't make sense, please let me know in the comments section down below. Sorry I'm so low energy today. It's been a rough few days, rough past 2 weeks really. I'm trying to crank out some more videos, but I am just falling behind here. You guys have a wonderful night. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit me up. I appreciate all you guys.